What's up, guys? It's Powerbang here. Welcome to my 10,000 subscriber celebration, and I have a special treat for you guys today. A lot of you have been requesting on the channel that I maybe do a special guest. Some of you have mentioned a particular special guest, somebody that we featured on the channel quite a bit. He appears in nearly every war recap. Without further ado, I'd like to introduce Drew from WHF. How's it going, Drew?
Good. Thank you for having me.
Of course. A little backstory on Drew and I. We have been clashing together for, I don't know, maybe 8 months or so.
Yeah.
And believe it or not, I think I got Drew out of global chat of all places, in game. And tell me how that worked, Drew. I know you came over with a couple other guys. How did we end up hooking up back in the day?
It was actually like my first clan I ever joined. It was about 4 or 5 of us guys, and Jerry LZ was one of them. And
Good old Jerry.
yeah, good old Jerry. Yeah, we were clashing together for a long time, and eventually we were getting tired of the 2-star mentality, and one of the guys actually I think found your original clan, which was, what was it?
Oh man, my original clan, the Cock Rockets. I think that's what we had rolling.
He had like some like three letter or something, like N.
Oh,
What was it?
NFR.
NFR.
Yeah.
Yeah. He
That's funny.
yeah, he found your clan and eventually convinced a bunch of us guys to join up, and been there ever since.
That's awesome. So, do you remember who made the initial contact? Was it Jerry?
It was Rome.
Wrong. That's right. I remember. Okay, got it. So sweet, man. So that was about 8 months ago. How long have you been playing Clash before that? Like, have you been going at this for 2 years like some guys, or are you like me that's just over a year? How long have you been playing?
I'd say that last February, so gonna be coming up on a year and a half here pretty soon.
Dang. Yeah, I think I was beginning of April of last year. So as soon as they announced, I was resistant to playing the game at all. You know, my friends, Cockmaster, Cyril Long John, Buddha, a lot of these guys that are in the clan now, they were bugging me at work, hey, you need to play. And I'm like, nah, I don't see the point. It's a single player game. And I've come from a competitive multiplayer background, and as soon as they announced, all right, Clan Wars is happening, I was like, all right, I'm downloading it. So got into it at that point, and the rest is history. So when did you start playing competitively? I mean, because obviously we spend quite a bit of our time, playing a
Leveling
mobile
up,
game.
yeah.
So when did you start, taking it more seriously? When did it get its hooks in you?
I would say when I reached Town Hall 8.
Yeah.
Town Hall 8, and that's kind of when I started 3-starring a bunch of bases with just like hogs or dragons, and we were doing really, really good. So that's probably when I started, and then got to Town Hall 9 and struggled mightily.
So were you one of the? I mean, I know I was. At Town Hall 8, were you a hog guy?
I would actually say I was more of a dragon guy.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, at the time, I just was kind of thinking back at the time frame, and the hog riders were ridiculously overpowered. And at the time, nobody realized that. Everybody thought it was just kind of how it was.
Mm-hmm.
But in hindsight, with the giant bomb changes and the centralizing of the heroes and, keeping them tethered to their platforms, oh my gosh, it's so much harder now than it used to be. It's still very doable, as you prove, war in, war out, but I literally could sit on my phone and smash my face on it to do my spells and still come out with a 3-star. And most of the time, due to the weights and stuff of the way our clan was set up at the time, I was hitting up at Town Hall 9s and 3-starring them, and it was just kind of silly. So
Wow.
just curious if you were a hog guy as well, but Drags, that actually surprises me,
Well,
watching you today.
my hogs were pretty low level, so I think by the time I actually leveled them up was right when they changed they nerfed them a bit.
Gotcha. So how did you ascend to, I have no other way to put this besides Drew, in all caps and quotes, air quotes here. how did you take your game to the next level? Because I mean, I don't think anybody would disagree, in our clan that you are probably the most consistent and impressive player that we have. So how did you get to that point?
Uh, Truthfully, it was probably by joining your clan. Um, it's a lot easier to learn and become an actual better player when you have other people also trying to better themselves. And if everyone is trying to get 3 stars, then it's okay if you fail because someone else is gonna be able to pick up the slack.
That's a really good point, actually, and that is a huge contention. As you know, we probably just launched this effort to get WHF2 filled up, and I'm hearing that from a lot of the guys that are joining. They're solid players. They've been trying to get 3 stars. They've been tuned into the channel for quite a while, but the clans they were in before, just they don't care. They didn't, they weren't interested in getting any better. They were good with just launching go wipes, and let the chips fall where they may. So that's just kind of the mentality of a lot of clans out there. And I don't know if it's due to ignorance or just they don't care as much, who knows? But that's cool. So,
Yeah.
uh,
Well, I think actually in like my case, I was pretty satisfied and was always doing go wee wee. And I think we got to the point where our clan was just we were happy getting the twos,
mhm.
and we didn't go for the threes because it was too risky. End up losing wars when you're trying to go for a three, end up getting a one or a zero, and I think it kind of just prevents people from actually trying to reach that next level.
That's a good point. I mean, there's a definite barrier, uh, when you first start making that transition from 2 stars to 3 stars. And, if you look at our war log, it's very apparent when that transition was made. If you
Yeah.
go back to the beginning, all of us, we had just gotten together, a lot of, new recruits that I had snagged. I had made the transition in my mind about the time that I formed the clan, and that was why I formed it in the first place, was because I wanted to evolve, I wanted to get better, and it's just in my nature to be competitive with pretty much everything I do. So that was why I formed the clan, and then as we gathered, solid players with solid bases and, high-level heroes, etc., and we all started kind of banding together to try to get better, we failed a lot at first, and we had quite a few blemishes in the war log. And then there came a point in time where, yourself, Trigger, me, because, just kind of naming the early guys that hopped on board, Jerry started throwing down the pentas. It just, enough people were throwing down 3 stars consistently to where all of a sudden we stopped losing. And, every war we were either winning it by a large margin, or we were right there against clans that had 120 to 160 wins. So there's definitely like a point where it clicks, and yeah, I
Hmm.
mean, wouldn't you say, where it just all of a sudden, things seem to work?
Oh, definitely. And now it's like we have so many good players where I mean, I think I'm decent, but some of the attacks and strategies the other guys are bringing out, like I didn't think at all, and it's awesome watching.
Definitely, it's a really good compliment having multiple players, that all are good at different things.
Hmm.
We don't really have a whole lot of jack of all trades, and we got guys that are good with multiple strategies, but some guys are really good with a certain thing, and it's really fun to watch. So, did you play any other games, prior to Clash? I mean, whether online, console, otherwise, before you got into the mobile stuff, what were you doing?
I was playing WoW for a while.
Oh no,
Yes,
wow.
yeah, that sucked up all my time.
So, for those WoW players out there watching, tell me what class and all that good stuff.
Wow, it's been so long. I think I was a Paladin and Alliance.
Alliance Paladin, nerding out
Uh,
here. Yeah, actually, I can admit to playing WoW myself. Played for, God, I don't know, 4 or 5 years. Um, I was Horde though, so we would have been against each other, and I had a Death Knight, a Warlock, and a Paladin. So way too many characters took up too much of my time, and I found myself tethered to a PC where, I had, real life responsibilities and, work and a job, family, all that good stuff. So that was when I kind of retired the PC gaming, and all of a sudden I found these games on my mobile phone that, hey, I can take this in my pocket and still have fun on the go. So
Yep.
that's kind of how it evolved for me.
Yeah.
Um, I gotta ask, this is something that I laugh about almost daily. Drusus Christ is a nickname that seemingly has stuck with you now, and believe me, we say it in complete adoration and affection, because you are basically our hero, and to us, you walk on water. Do you like the nickname that the guys have picked out and bestowed upon you?
It's a compliment. Whether I like it or not, well, thank Jerry for that. So I'm
Jer-
fine with whatever. As
Jerry's a
long as
character.
I'm getting 3 stars, guys can call me whatever.
Perfect. We will roll with that. So, for those that are watching right now, that may or may not be new to 3-star strategies, if you had some advice for them, if you had to pick 3 things that you could tell them right now to help them out with their raids, what 3 pieces of information would you give them?
Uh, Level your heroes. Have a plan, and always go for the 3 star.
Got it. Nice. Expand on that a little bit. Leveling your heroes. How do you go about that? What's your favorite method?
Well, nowadays it's healer arch queen. Before that I was looning up in uh, masters and even champ. But now it's just so easy doing arch queen healer.
I have to say, I put up the healer AQ video on the Dark Elixir, and that is going crazy on the channel right now. Everybody's interested. You've got a few people that are skeptical, that are a little bit of a naysayer about it, and it just makes me giggle, honestly, because I'm sitting here raking in 2,500 DE minimum
Hmm.
every single raid. I mean, literally every time I log on, I can just go, oh, there's 5K, if I want to do 2 raids, every single time. And I'm not seeing really any failures. It's just a matter of having the time, to do it. And, some folks look at my account from video to video and say, well, your heroes aren't, they're not progressing as quickly as you say they could. And it's like, well, geez, guys, it's not like I don't make YouTube videos twice a day for y'all, and,
Yeah,
have to do the editing and the clan wars and the organization associated with all of that. So
especially if you have
this
to work.
exactly, and I have a job and a family and all that. So I mean, there's other stuff going on, but when I do sit down to raid, which is typically for me anymore with the YouTube channel, as kind of my side gig, anymore that's like once or twice a week, and I'll boost, at least one session if I have some time, like basically if the wife goes out shopping or whatever. Um, I'll boost and do some serious damage. And, when I do sit down to raid, I'll get 100K, Dark Elixir in a day, no problem. And I noticed that you have days that have to be, similar, if not exceeding that amount, because um, your heroes, man, I went back and looked at the Clan War recaps from like Clan War recap, maybe 36 or 37, you had like a level 25 king, and then like 5 or 6 wars later, he was maxed level 30.
Yeah. I mean, I think I boosted a couple times, but for the most part, that was just by doing 2 raids in a row and then taking a break, getting a shield, and then when I felt ready to raid again, then did 2 more.
There you go. And that's kind of what I'm doing now. When I catch on my lunch break or whatever, when I
Yeah.
wake up in the morning, I'll get a couple raids in, and then I make sure that I have enough queued um, to immediately throw down another one, right away, or at least within a reasonable amount of time, so I don't have to keep my device on. As far as having a plan, what goes into that? I mean, we use an app called Skitch. I recommend you guys grab that if you have not gotten it already. Makes for easy markup on a base screenshot. But aside from Skitch, as far as planning goes, what are you doing to, when you look at a base, what are you looking at? Walk us through your planning.
Well, I think the first thing is just trying to figure out what setup to use for whatever base you're looking at, whether it's Goho or Laloon or Valkyries. Just what you're trying to do is just figure out what the weakness is in that base and then trying to exploit that.
Awesome. That's exactly what I do. I mean, you and I think, are on the same wavelength as far
Yeah.
as, scouting bases and figuring out what's appropriate and what's probably not.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, going through the planning. Then what was the last thing you said as far as, your tips? Yeah, you're leveling your heroes, having a plan. What was the third thing? You remember?
Just always going for the 3-star.
There you go.
Yeah, don't
Um,
settle for 2.
Gotcha. So always going for 3. I like that. That's why I founded the clan. Going for the 3. I mean, this last war was a perfect example. The clan that we played, we put them away in the first 2 hours of war, just because everybody came out and 3-starred, their first base essentially. Well, the exception of me. Everybody else pretty much took care of business, and we had an absurd amount of cleanups that we could have used to clean up everything else. So,
Yeah, I mean, I think this time I didn't attack until like 4 hours left in the actual war because everyone had essentially destroyed all the top Town Hall 9s already.
yeah, I remember looking at, I always kind of look for you too, and I'm thinking, all right, well, where can we use our secret weapon, Drew? It's like dropping the nuclear warhead. Um, but, I was looking for you, and it was like I had 3-starred 7 and 8 on DJ, and I was like, well, crap, that kind of takes away Drew's normal, wheelhouse. And then people started filling in below that, and we had 3-starred, the top half of the clan, it seemed like, before you'd even looked at the bases. So,
Yeah, but I mean
um,
that's awesome though.
definitely. No, I
Yeah.
will take wars. I was sitting there late in the war thinking, okay, where do I attack? Because it was like, do I hit a Town Hall 8? What's the deal? So anyway, I've got an idea. Kind of wrap up this video here. I think it'd be really cool that wanted to kind of do for One Lucky Clan to celebrate our 10,000 subscriber achievement here, the milestone on the channel. And I wanted to pitch it to you and see if you'd be down to help out. You gonna help out?
Of course.
Sweet. So here's the master plan. I'm thinking that you and I can take a break from WHF for one war and take a traveling road show to One Lucky Clan that is a viewer of this particular video right here, and we basically go join up with a clan, help them, not organize attacks, but, help them plan, give some advice, some strategy, I suppose, and then actually insert ourselves in the war if they should like to have us. What do you think?
Sounds like a good idea.
Sweet. So I'm thinking that gives 4 attacks of, incredibly high-level Town Hall 9 in Drew, and, a middling Town Hall 9 in good old PB here. And we can, do our best to help further your war efforts, and it might be kind of fun to see something new for those that would like to have us. So here's how I'm thinking we get this done. For those of you watching, if you are interested in having both Powerbang and Drew on our main accounts come to your clan to participate in a war with you, leave me a comment on this video with your clan name in it, and then have your clanmates come like that post. And whoever has the most likes on their post, I'll check it in like a day or two. Whoever has the most likes on your comment, I'm going to go ahead and select you guys for the visit. And Drew and I will stop by here near future. I don't know exactly when. We'll have to check the old war schedule and see when it's going to work best. But we'll stop by and hopefully come wreck some bases for you. So does that sound good to you, Drew?
Sounds great.
Sweet. So that is all I have on my agenda. What do you think going forward? You have any final thoughts?
Actually, one thing I was just thinking about,
Yeah.
I've been noticing that in a lot of attacks, when people are creating their funnels, they just kind of throw the witches kind of like in a line.
Mm-hmm.
Um, when you really don't need to, you could just throw your Archer Queen right in the middle of that and essentially let the Archer Queen take out of the middle, like wizards on the sides, and from there you kind of just start your raid.
Gotcha. So that's something I noticed that you have been doing quite a bit more as of late. Um, 3 golem entries has been something that you've been doing quite a bit, and taking the first 2 golems, spreading them at the outer portions of your funnel, basically as wide as you can set them, while still having the defense buildings that are in the middle of those 2 golems firing at the outside. So essentially as wide as possible, dropping in 3 or 4 wizards behind on each side behind the golems, having a pretty big gap in the middle, and that's where you're kind of dropping the Archer Queen, and she's responsible for creating that middle portion of the damage working in, and then sending that 3rd golem in ahead of the Archer Queen to tank damage for her. And that kind of gives your golems the ability, correct me if I'm wrong, you can create an extremely wide funnel, do a lot of damage, and then you have that 3rd golem heading into the base at full health, and it hasn't been getting beat on by the defenses that are inside the walls that whole time while you're creating your funnel.
Yeah, that's exactly why I'm doing it.
Cool. So once that's a kind of a master, tip here. You can probably see that on the screen right now. It's kind of putting up the process here that Drew goes through in the start of his raid. So, I think it's efficient. From what I've seen of your raids lately, it's been extremely effective getting, 3 golems. If you can set them to the point to where the 2 on the outside actually redirect after that funnel's created and then get into the core, if you're able to take out the point defenses that are in front of those side golems, it's just absolutely overpowering, because you have those tanks just sitting in the middle of the base, while hogs typically is your, drug of choice as far as 3-starring bases. The hogs kind of trickle in a surgical fashion from around the, outside of the base, and nothing seems to be shooting at them because they're all focused on golems.
Yep.
Sweet. Well, glad you brought that up. I always like picking your brain, as well as, some of the other guys in our clan. So that's going to do it, guys, for this episode. Certainly appreciate you guys tuning in. Thank you so much for all the love and support that you guys have brought to the channel, to me, to guys like Drew and several of the others that I have in WHF. That's all I got. Drew, you got any words to sign out on?
Just keep going for the 3 stars, and if you're in a clan that is just happy with the 2s and you want to get out, go find a clan with a 3-star mentality.
Boom. And that's that. Drew's has spoken. Anyways, guys, Powerbang signing out till next time. We'll catch you soon. Thanks so much, guys, for checking out my video. If you feel like you learned something here today and you're a better attacker for having watched it, your clanmates will probably feel the exact same way. So do me a favor, share this video with them, get them to the channel, and chances are your clan's going to be exploding for 3 stars from top to bottom before you know it. Thanks, and we'll catch you next time.